What's up, space pirates? This is your captain, the ever-charming Dr. Disaster, and I have to say that one of the most satisfying things in the world is watching somebody who is trying to hide something get their butt caught. The look on their face is usually priceless.
Catch you f***ers at a bad time?
Oh shit, not good.
You may remember that we discussed this game Avowed the other day, the game that some people are referring to as the Skyrim killer, because supposedly it's going to replace that game. But that is not realistic at all. The game looks nowhere near as cool as Skyrim.
I'm out of it for a little while. Everybody gets delusions of grandeur.
Anyhow, you may recall that I pointed out the fact that there are apparently pronoun things being used in the game. If you go to the character screen on the menu of the game, you can see that pronouns are prominently featured right here, so apparently your pronouns are not tied to whether or not you choose a male or a female body during the character creation. And as I said just the other day, this is a deal breaker for me. I don't take people seriously who list their pronouns in their bios on Twitter, and I sure as shit won't pay to play a game where I'm exposed to this sort of thing on the constant. But one thing I didn't notice right away is the fact that these dimwits at Obsidian, who decided to add all this gendered BS into their game, these people went out of their way to try and hide this pronoun crap. You see, this information that we're getting about the pronoun usage in this game, this comes from a review video on a channel called Force Gaming. When I first learned about this, I simply saw this screenshot right here, which has been circulating on social media. I didn't actually watch this guy's video until I had some time yesterday, and actually, it turns out that there's more to learn here. The guy at Force Gaming tells us that Obsidian actually declined to allow reviewers to record the intro to the game. They didn't want people to see the character creator because they know damn well how we would react to this pronoun shit. They saw what happened to Dragon Age the Veilguard when their awful character creation was revealed, and they clearly decided that it was best to stay hidden for as long as possible.
1, 2, 3. We may be trapped.
Hide! They only saw me!
Alright, me hearties, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and also, don't forget to follow me over on Twitter or X, or whatever you want to refer to it as these days. I keep a list on there of games lousy with wokeness pinned to the account at all times for your reference. My handle over there is Dr. Disaster 1. But alright, let's look at Avowed again. This gender ideology shit is going to bury this game. The other day I said that so far they had not risen to the level of wokeness that Dragon Age the Veilguard had, at least not in my mind, at least not yet. But hiding the character creation is a major red flag. As I said, I learned about them hiding this shit when watching the review video of Avowed from YouTuber Force Gaming. We're going to watch a little bit of his video in a second here so you can see what I'm talking about. This reviewer seems to really like Avowed, and just so you get the full context of what he thinks, we're going to watch a minute or so of what he said. But pay attention when he starts talking about the character creation stuff, because it seems very suspicious to me.
And I'm comparing it to Skyrim because there's some obvious connections between the two, but I don't quite think it's going to reach the heights of Bethesda's masterpiece. However, nevertheless, even just from my early preview of the game, I'm pretty confident that Obsidian has built something worthy of praise here. While it is smaller in scope, Avowed still manages to deliver a sense of exploration and discovery in a fantasy setting infused with Obsidian Obsidian's charms, loaded with secrets, puzzles, and loot to be found, interesting characters and places to discover. I don't know, man. I'm just impressed, frankly. I really enjoyed what I've seen thus far, to the point that Avowed is now one of my most anticipated games of next year. I liked it that much. So let's talk about it. Things begin as per usual at character creation, although unfortunately for whatever reason they didn't let us record the intro to the game, maybe due to spoilers, I'm not exactly sure.
Well, I happen to be fairly sure that Obsidian is trying to hide the breadth of their woke, gendered shit from the public. Think back to a game like Skyrim, which many of us have likely played a million times. Think back to the character creation of that game. Bethesda would not have given a shit at all about whether or not their game's character creator screen was showed off. It would be one thing if Obsidian didn't permit the reviewers to record, like, maybe some cutscenes at the beginning of Avowed, because they were trying to keep people from having story elements spoiled. That makes complete sense, but there's no good reason to not want players to see what their options are for creating characters. It seems obvious to me that they simply don't want gamers giving this game a bad reputation so far in advance of the game being released. They don't want to be the next Dragon Age, which was absolutely lambasted when we saw that you could add cellulite and all kinds of other skin conditions and shit like that to your character, but yet, when you made a female character in that game, you were forced to have her look as though she had the body proportions of a broomstick. You couldn't have a chest size larger than an A cup because those woke D-bags at BioWare have no regard for nature's stress balls. So yeah, Obsidian has seen how gamers reacted to the shit that was done in Dragon Age, and considering how they handled things in Outer World, and considering that they work under the Microsoft umbrella now, which is all about this weird, gendered, ideological nonsense, well, considering all that, it's no wonder they'd want to disguise their work. I mean, that's just the way these activists masquerading as game developers, that's how they work these days. They are all about subterfuge, because if they don't hide what they're up to, then they know they will be rejected. This is reminiscent of the way that a lot of these woke devs will often take a franchise that is really popular, hollow it out, and mold it in their own ideological image, and then release it on the world, hoping to lure people in based on the brand name alone. Think of something like Star Wars Outlaws or Dragon Age the Veilguard. Think of how bad those already poorly selling games would have sold if they didn't have a name like Star Wars or Dragon Age. If they don't do this, and they release something that is a wholly unique and new IP, like Concord for example, then it will fail completely miserably. So yeah, in the same sort of way, Avowed is trying to lure you in with the promise of a sword and sorcery styled fantasy world in the same vein as the Elder Scrolls, and they are hoping that you buy it before you realize that it has been infested with their weird shit. And you gotta think, so far we are just scratching the surface of what's in this game. This is most likely just the smoke. Eventually we will see the fire. But I'm gonna leave it there. Drop your mockery of cowardly Obsidian, who really should be proud of their pronoun stuff. I thought pride was their whole thing. If they believe in it, then they should stand by it. But drop your mockery of these people into the comment section below, and we will talk there.
Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your captain is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.